So Khabib Nurmagomedov has really been hitting the headlines recently. Even though he's been retired for around 4 years now, the MMA media, fans, and even trolls just can't seem to get enough of him. So I'm sure you've seen, but most recently Khabib's name has been hitting the headlines due to his comments saying that Ireland didn't have any MMA talent on level with Dagestan. So Khabib did cause a stir with these comments. Despite all of the Ireland versus Dagestan drama right now, what I really wanted to do was talk about the UFC 311 camp. Khabib literally has 3 fighters that he's coaching going into this event: Tagir, Ulanbekov, Umar Nurmagomedov, and Islam Makhachev. So Khabib is back in Las Vegas, where the iconic UFC 229 fight took place against Conor McGregor, and of course people have never ever forgot that fight. But like I said, this time he has 3 fighters of his own on the card. As I'm sure you're aware, 2 out of 3 of those fighters actually have back-to-back title fights. That's Umar Nurmagomedov versus Merab Dvalishvili, and then defending the lightweight title, Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan. So let's just get into it. How is Khabib coaching his team to victory at UFC 311? So the fight camp this time is actually taking place in Las Vegas, and I was actually quite surprised to learn about that. I thought the team would be going out to the AKA gym in San Jose and having their fight camp and training there, but actually this time they chose to do their training at the UFC PI in Las Vegas. So I was watching this interview recently with Team Khabib manager Ali Abdelaziz, who actually has, I believe, 9 fighters going into the UFC 311 card, and he said the reason that the team chose the UFC PI in Las Vegas was actually because the UFC PI has so many benefits like recovery and dietitians and whatnot. Then again, I really did want to see the team back in San Jose at the AKA gym, because over the years we've had so much funny content come out of that gym. Remember all of those videos where you'd see Islam and Khabib opening up packages and gifts that they got from fans? Some of those gifts were just so incredible, and nobody forgets that video where they scared Khabib coming out of this box. And actually the interesting thing here as well is that Islam Makhachev's opponent Arman Tsarukyan is actually doing his training camp in the Russian mountains, where you'd also expect Islam to be training for this fight. So Arman Tsarukyan has quite an active YouTube channel, and he posted this video recently, and he's doing his training in Mount Elbrus. So I googled it, and it's the highest mountain in Russia and Europe. So clearly training at such a high altitude will have so many cardio benefits. As we know, Khamzat Chimaev also did train in the same place for his fight against Robert Whittaker. So I'm just wondering how Arman's enhanced cardio from training in the mountains will factor into the fight. So will the main event be a full 5-round fight, or will we see a finish? You guys can let me know what you think on that in the comments below. Manager Ali Abdelaziz also said in this interview with MMA Junkie that they had the PI to themselves, and that just made me think back to a couple weeks ago. We had bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili stood outside the PI, and he was kind of complaining about the fact he wasn't being let in due to his friction with Umar Nurmagomedov, or because they were trying to protect Umar Nurmagomedov inside the PI. So I don't know the full story behind that.
And security don't let me go in, because they said Umar Nurmagomedov is inside and they are protecting him.
Overall, I just think it's interesting that the team chose to train out in Las Vegas this time. So speaking of the whole Merab versus Umar drama, I have to go back to the UFC 311 press conference. I really didn't expect it to be that crazy and hilarious. I didn't expect Merab to be so super hyped up about it. Clearly Merab is not happy about this fight, but then again, that just makes the fans even more excited. But going back to Khabib's coaching, I definitely think his mental coaching factored in quite well for Umar here, because during the press conference, Umar Nurmagomedov still remained very calm, cool and collected, just the way Khabib behaved at his own press conferences as well.
And I don't know what this guy talking about. I don't understand what he gonna do 6 October. He think whiskey gonna help him? I know.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about was limited recovery time. So this video has been going around quite a bit on social media recently, and it was a video Islam actually made, and in the video you can see Islam has quite a few bruises on his face and he looks so exhausted, and he goes up to Khabib, who's on the exercise bike, and asks him how impressed he is with their training so far, and Khabib rated him a 4 out of 5, and the reason was because Khabib wasn't entirely happy with the fact that Islam took an additional rest evening on a Wednesday, and Khabib said the only time the team is allowed to rest is on a Saturday and Sunday evening. So we've learned from several of Khabib's fighters in the past that Khabib is a super tough coach. He's extremely disciplined and he does not care if you are tired. Literally, if you are tired, you can stop complaining and go home instead. But honestly, I just think it all comes down to the fact that Khabib just cares for his fighters so much, and he just really wants to see his guys win and have incredible careers. But we have seen quite a few funny clips of Khabib in the past in training sessions, so I'm going to put in here a few of my favorite.
Someone tired, you can go home.
What else can they do, Khabib, besides go home?
Cry too.
They can cry?
If someone tired, he can cry. Come.
For Khabib, it's all about shutting up and getting on with the training. There's no messing about, there's no jokes, there's no gimmicks.
Now you wanna say like you tired? Who cares? You tired or not? Nobody care about you.
And he even wears this t-shirt that says shut up and train. I just want that t-shirt so bad. So guys, do you think you could survive a Khabib training session yourself? So Khabib actually physically trains with his fighters himself. So in the lead up to UFC 311 so far, I've seen quite a few clips on the internet and some pictures of Khabib actually getting down and grappling with the fighters, getting in the octagon and coaching. And I think that is definitely something that does set him apart from other coaches. Clearly keeping himself in shape as well. He could probably get back into the UFC and win again. Also, I think it was really cool to see Khabib get former incredible UFC talent to join in on the training sessions. And yes, I'm talking about the recent Mighty Mouse video that's like been blowing up on YouTube. And in this video, we really get a good insight into Khabib's training sessions, and you can see that there is such a respectful environment in the gym. Everyone was literally coming up to meet and hug Demetrius Johnson, and you can just tell that there is so much calm and respectfulness between all of the fighters. I think it was really funny when he got him to do the kettlebell jumps over again, and also he got him to wrestle with so many guys, and actually one guy who is a silver Olympic medalist, Nurmagomedov. So that just shows how much of a strong camp Khabib is creating for the UFC 311 fight camp. They've got so many people, so many elite level wrestlers and grapplers, and clearly that just shows how much of a strong camp and team Khabib is putting together for UFC 311. They are really pulling out all of the stops. They've got Olympic medal winning athletes in there, and they're literally sat there figuring out solutions on takedowns and how to get out of bad positions. And of course, we are all expecting Islam and Arman to put on a wrestling masterclass at UFC 311. Also, it was really cool to see Belal Muhammad, the welterweight champion, also step in and join in on a training session. I believe he did some grappling with Islam. But I guess Islam training with Belal has just made people question more whether Islam will ever face Belal Muhammad in the future for the welterweight title. So you guys let me know in the comments what you think will happen about that. So the last thing I wanted to mention about Khabib's UFC 311 training camp is the fact that he does more than just act as their coach. There's this picture I saw recently of Umar Nurmagomedov, who is the cousin of Khabib, actually running on the treadmill alongside each other. There was also this clip recently of Khabib cooking steaks for all of the team. And also this post went around quite a bit on Instagram saying that Khabib was actually at the UFC 311 press conference, but he was in disguise. I'm not sure whether it was actually Khabib, but if it was, I just think that is so iconic, and it just shows that he really did not want to take the attention away from his fighters. Even in the Mighty Mouse video, Khabib said he was actually feeling quite sick, but he definitely wanted to still come out and help train his fighters. Even going back to the controversy that I mentioned at the start of this video, Ireland and Dagestan MMA, it shows that Khabib is definitely not afraid to speak his truth. He knows he's going to be present on the night of UFC 311, and he isn't afraid of any UFC backlash again. And of course, who wouldn't want to have a coach who has so much confidence in you like Khabib does? So to put everything together, I would definitely say that Khabib is running a really genuine and hardworking UFC 311 fight camp. And I think it's quite admirable and interesting that they're training out in the US this time and changing their approach a bit. It just shows how confident they are and how willing they are to adapt to change. I can't wait to see the content for UFC 311 embedded. And Khabib actually does have his own YouTube channel as well, and he has posted like training vlogs in the past. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, please don't forget to share, like and subscribe.